We have two big winter storms that will be producing heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, and some severe weather with some heavy rainfall as well. And we're going to be talking about the long range, what you can expect into the middle of February. Welcome everyone back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. My name is Hunter, and if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow along with all my detailed, accurate weather breakdowns, turn on post notifications so you are notified for videos in the future and live streams in the future. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's get into the short term here. Let's look at our temperatures we woke up to this morning out across the west, and notice to the north into Montana, we were in the single digits below zero, so a cold start there where feel-like temperatures were 30 degrees below zero here in parts of northwestern Montana. So if you know any folks that live up here, hopefully they bundled up this morning because it was very, very cold. Now, as we go into the afternoon, we're going to see the warmest air obviously down here and where it's dry. Dry ground heats up faster and it's further south too, so we're going to see areas in the desert southwest into the 70s, yeah, even a few 80s down here as well, from Southern California all the way east into New Mexico. Coldest of the air further to the north. Looking here at the central U.S., waking up into the Twin Cities around 5 degrees this morning. Definitely very chilly, especially with the wind chill around 5 degrees below zero up in the Twin Cities. 15, 20 degrees below zero up into parts of North and South Dakota this morning as well. Even some sub-zero wind chills into the Badger State of Wisconsin. Now, as we go here into the afternoon, we're going to be warming up markedly across Texas again, especially from Lubbock down to Midland there and into West Texas. Could be pushing near 90 in a couple of areas out there. Otherwise, areas in the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, especially Michigan, we're going to be more into the 20s this afternoon with some 30s out there as well. Into the eastern U.S., coldest of the air this morning from Maine into New Hampshire, Vermont, and upstate New York. Sub-zero lows into some of those areas, especially with the deeper snowpack. The Ohio Valley waking up into the 20s. Same thing over here into the mid-Atlantic. Further south into the southeast, we're going to be waking up into areas of 40s and 50s. And notice as we go into the afternoon, our temperatures won't be warming up too much up here with the deeper snowpack across upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine staying in the single digits above zero and into the teens, and then more of the 30s and 40s from the Ohio Valley east to the mid-Atlantic, and then 60s, 70s, and yes, another batch of 80s there for Florida this afternoon. What are the temperatures looking like as we go through the rest of this work week and the very important Super Bowl weekend? So looking here at Thursday, this is tomorrow, February 6th, you can see mild air from Texas all the way to the East Coast. That will continue, and that will precede our next system as well. We have another big swath of some warm air from Texas all the way to the Ohio Valley on Saturday. That will be followed up by some colder air on the backside of our next storm system. That will dump a little bit more widespread colder air across the northern plains, the central plains, and the upper Midwest, and then spread some more cold air across the Great Lakes to our friends in the Northeast as well. How about our precipitation we've been seeing? Over the past 5 days, you can see very wet, especially over here in the West, California, especially Northern California, and then from East Texas through the Ohio River Valley there, definitely seeing some very heavy rainfall there over the last 5 days. And where do we go from here? Well, let's look here at our Pineapple Express, or our atmospheric river across the west. Notice we've shut off a lot of our precipitation as that's migrated down here into the central and especially southern California foothills. We are seeing some beneficial moisture, so we don't want to take away from that. But as we go into Thursday, we're going to have a reprieve in the morning, and then the afternoon, game is on again for rain and snow, and this could bring some more heavier snow to the Sierras as we go into Thursday night. And then overspreading some heavy snow across Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, northern Nevada, northern Utah as we go into Friday, February 7th. And the all-important Super Bowl weekend, it looks like the taps are shut off for moisture and will begin to dry out across the west. Any additional moisture that we do see is going to be mainly focused across California, at least with the heaviest of the moisture. That's where we could be seeing an additional couple of inches of rainfall through the weekend, maybe up to 5 or 6 inches in isolated spots. The Sierra Sierras will get the most snow across the west. That's where we could be adding up another 3 feet or so of snow, possibly up to 40 inches in some areas. Otherwise, a couple of feet of snow possible for Oregon, Idaho, western Montana, into portions of western Wyoming, Utah, into portions of Colorado, northern Nevada, as we go through the rest of this weekend, going all the way through Sunday, February 9th. A lot of moisture-laden system across the Ohio Valley will promise some heavy precipitation as we go into the midweek time frame, and that really begins in earnest today, as we do have a freezing rain sleet event beginning across northeast Missouri and into western Illinois as we go into this afternoon, really within the next couple of hours. And then we have snow flurries, snow showers further north into the deeper cold air in Iowa, and yes, rainfall into the deeper warm air further to the south. And notice as we go into the evening, that ice threat will be overspreading areas of southeast Iowa, north central Illinois, into northern Indiana and Ohio. This could cause some problems on the roadways. And then as we go in towards the early morning hours on Thursday, that will quickly shift off to the east. Note the heavier ice precipitation really across Pennsylvania, Maryland, the panhandle of West Virginia, for example, northern Virginia. Higher ice accumulation rates are going to accrete less ice on the bridges and overpasses and trees, which is good news. But we'll definitely have to continue to watch this for power outages potentially in these areas of the Poconos, into Pennsylvania, into Maryland, and the panhandle of West Virginia, northern Virginia. Higher precipitation rates definitely will lead to less ice accretion, hopefully, in these areas. But then further to the north in the deeper cold air, we do have some snow for our friends in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, even over the border into Ontario. And then some severe weather on the southern side we have to watch as well towards Kentucky and Tennessee. We definitely have the potential for some pretty heavy rainfall, maybe an inch or two of rain here, but the severe weather threat, a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk in the dark green for our friends in southern Ohio, really centered on Kentucky though, western West Virginia and into Tennessee there, Nashville up toward Lexington, Richmond, Cincinnati over here and getting close to Charleston, West Virginia. We do have the threat for some 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail, maybe a brief tornado or two, and then as we go into tomorrow, Thursday on February 6th, more of a general garden variety thunderstorm chance here across the portions of Tennessee towards the mid-Atlantic. Now let's look at the ice threat. It's going to be notable, especially the further east you go toward Pennsylvania, really centered on Pennsylvania. Could be seeing upwards to 1/4 of an inch of ice in some of these areas, but do notice some of these amounts may be overdone into Pennsylvania because of the precipitation rate is high. We might not be accreting the ice as much as some of the models are showing, so don't be caught up on the model showing 3/4 of an inch of ice or anything. I don't think we see that, but definitely seeing the potential for 1/4 of an inch of ice with the system midweek, and then maybe another 1/10 or so of an inch of ice with the weekend system. This is taking into account both systems, midweek and the weekend, and notice this is both systems as well, the midweek system and the weekend system for snow. And notice the Twin Cities over to Green Bay could be seeing upwards to 6 inches here, and possibly a foot of snow from northern and central New York State into much of Vermont, New Hampshire, into southern Maine and northern Massachusetts, even Boston getting in on several inches of snow there through the rest of the week. Now going into next week, we're going to see a plunge of some cold air as cross-polar flow moves in from the north. And looking at this colder air, it comes in with a vengeance, especially by the middle of next week, by this time next week. And notice how far south it goes toward Texas, Louisiana here, into Mississippi and Tennessee, while the southeast ridge kind of tries to remain locked in place, right, across portions of the southeast coast. And that takes us all the way through the following weekend, although we do have a little surge in our southeast ridge by the end of next week. Now, this is going to come with some fanfare. We're going to see some precipitation and likely some heavy precipitation where you see the higher greens and blue shaded colors really across the east and the southeast. That's where your rainfall will be because raindrops are heavier than snowflakes, and where you see the snow, it's going to be a little bit lighter QPF up here, quantitative precipitation forecast. And notice we're going to be looking at an ensemble approach to this because the operational models are really not handling our weather pattern, I think, next week very well. So looking at the snow in the blue, the ice in the pinks and the pinks there, and then the greens is the rain. The darker green is the heavier rain, and notice as we go through next week that snow threat tries to move south with the cold air, but it only really kind of goes as far south as Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Tennessee. But hey, that's further south, and you'll see that as we go into the later portion of next week, that moves further north as we have a resurgence of that southeast ridge again. Where's the snowfall going to be? Well, if you're in the blue, you have a solid shot at a couple inches, especially over here in the purples and pinks, mid-Atlantic up toward the northeast. Yes, the I-95 corridor could be seeing some significant snowfall at some point next week. That will take us into the middle of February. Now, the second half of February, Saturday, February 15th through the following Saturday, February 22nd, we don't know how cold this air mass will be and how widespread it'll be. The model is kind of a little bit further north with this. This could be further south. This could be more intense. This is a couple of weeks out, so things could change here. But we'll definitely keep an eye on this as we go into that third week of February, and that could bring more snow if we have colder air and moisture overlapping across the northern U.S. into that third week of February. We're eyeing up Saturday, February 15th rather, through Saturday, February 22nd, and the heaviest snows look to be parked over here into the northeast. Hey, we're going to continue to track these winter storms, cold air, severe weather, everything here for the weather on this channel. We're all your weather coverage here at Weather on the Go. And thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow along with all my detailed, accurate weather breakdowns. Turn on post notifications so you're notified for the evening video forecast and any live streams we have in the future. Also, like the video, give it a thumbs up, share this video with friends, family, and on social media. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. And also, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section down below. I'll answer those after the video, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Wednesday out there.